Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Borat with another video. Today we're going to do another build showcase and guide for the Throw Barb. Now I know that there's been a couple of videos already. However, some of the more popular videos that I've seen have actually provided a lot of misinformation. Just want to kind of set the record straight on some of that stuff, especially as it pertains to the increased attack speed that you need. One of the more popular videos had kind of used an eye test and had said that there's no good calculators for it. Straight up false. I mean, guys, this is such an old game, and every question that needs to be answered has been answered. There's IAS calculators, there's forums, there's Area Summit, there's the D2 wiki, there's the PD2 wiki. All of this information is available. So you don't have to use an eye test. You can definitely use online calculators or forums for all of this information. So we'll talk about increased attack speed a little bit later, but definitely something that I want to convey because, guys, like at the end of the day, this is all about educational content and how to help you guys maximize your build based on your budget and based on the gear that's available to you. So even if you can't exactly replicate the build that I'm doing, at least I'm trying to give you guys the information to do what you can do with what you have. So I just want to start by saying, guys, my videos have run basically increasingly longer since I've started. I do try to provide a lot of information, so feel free to watch the whole thing. I appreciate that if you do, and if you like it, please like and subscribe because I'm just going to keep pumping out content. However, I do put chapters in the description, so feel free to click through to the section that's most relevant to you. If you just want to watch gameplay, then you can go ahead and do that. Another thing is, I've been a little bit hesitant about sharing my loot filter on past videos because it's not my loot filter. However, I did talk to Retro. Shout out to Retro. This guy is a god. He spends hours working on his loot filter, and he has allowed me to provide it. So that will be in the comments below as well because I have been getting a ton of questions about that. I'll just kind of make a short announcement. My next video will be pretty cool. I'm going to do a slam fest, which will ultimately turn into a brick fest. Because that's just me. Whenever I film myself corrupting something, it's bricked. However, a lot of people in the community, especially those waiting for the next season, and just people that I've helped on Discord and all that through these videos, have donated a ton of gear to me. So we'll be doing a Slam Fest. Here's a little preview. That's, I think, 12 Wind Forces that I'm going to be slamming. I have a Eth Grandfather, Eth Templar's Might. I have some really cool items that I'll be slamming. So hopefully that will turn into, I'll get one or two really good corruptions, and that'll be exciting to do on stream. Anyway, back to the Throw Barb. Let's jump right in. So for skills, guys, the skill distribution for most builds in Diablo is pretty similar. You're just going to want, well, especially as it pertains to strength, you're just going to want enough strength to wear your gear. There are niche scenarios where you want to overskill strength, but this is not one of them. In fact, there's very few builds like that, so always just put in enough strength to wear your gear. And then the cool thing about the Throw Barb is it works a lot like the Boson, where the more dexterity you put, the more damage you do. That said, if your playstyle is you want to be a little bit more survivable, you can put points into Vitality. And this is where it kind of differs from a Boson. Vitality is actually super beneficial for a Barb. If it hasn't changed since Diablo 2, you get 3 hit points per point in Vitality. So if you do want to mix up a bit of survivability into the build, then by all means go for it. My play style, I play typically 8-man maps. I'm feeling pretty safe all the time, and you're already more survivable than a glass cannon Boson. You're going to have higher level battle command and battle orders. You're going to have more life, and you're going to have max resist. So that's already a lot more survivability than you would have on other glass cannon builds, which is why I went all dexterity after strength. So this is what my tooltip looks like. I'll go buff. Just to quickly show you what it looks like after I buff. And I just want to call out, guys, these numbers that show on the tooltip are not correct. This has been a problem since Diablo 2. Senpai has acknowledged that it still exists. He mentioned it in a Reddit thread where someone was kind of flexing, oh, I do 104k damage. And Senpai was the top comment saying that these numbers are incorrect, and they have been for years and years. So anyway, while I'm not doing 68,000, you do a lot of damage, and that's one of the cool things about the build. And as we jump into gear, I think it's worth calling out that this is probably going to be a pretty popular build going into next season. The reason for that being the weapons are not very expensive, and you still have huge output. Now, The weapon has changed a little bit over the course of the season. Pretty much everybody started out with F War Shrike and F Lacerator. That's actually what a lot of people used back in Vanilla D2. However, it seems to be the general consensus now that just using 2 Wraith Flights is a pretty good option. 1, they're cheap. 2, and just to call this out, every Wraith Flight is ethereal. You can't find it non-ethereal, so they're super cheap. They're easy to find. I slammed these myself. I actually slammed 3 pairs, and I got enhanced damage on both of them. I mean, I was pretty happy about that. I don't know if I'm just lucky, but all told, like, these weapons just aren't expensive, and the damage output is still huge. Now, that said, there would be better weapons. I'm sure you could craft something that would just be amazing. Like, really, you just want high damage. Nothing else matters too much. I mean, this has chance of pierce, but you just get pierce from so many other places. You get 50% from just the throwing mastery, so you don't really have to worry about pierce all that much. But anyway, so Wraith Flight is kind of the go-to weapon. Again, super cheap, super viable, and going into next season, you're going to be able to find a pair of these pretty quickly. So it'll make this build pretty viable going into the new season. I wouldn't be surprised to see this being one of the favored builds next season. For the helmet, guys, there's tons of options here, and one of the, I've chosen this Veil of Steel. I mean, I literally just traded for this yesterday because it popped up on the Discord, and I thought, okay, this kind of serves my purpose. This has the increased attack speed that I need. Again, go into the breakpoints a little bit later, but all told, huge enhanced defense, a little bit of strength, a little bit of height. Obviously this could have higher resists, but and it does have a plus skill as well. So for other options, I mean, Ariat's Face is just so good. Every time I look at that item, I think, holy shit, the mods on this thing are just ridiculous. Faster hit recovery, bonus attack rating, plus to barb skills, life leech, strength, dex, combat skills. Like the list just goes on and on. It's such a great cheap item. If you can get it with 2 sockets just to kind of help you hit that increased attack speed, breakpoint, even better, and that still probably would not be too expensive. Again, I've chosen the Veil of Steel just for some swag, I guess, but another option would just be a G-Face, 3-socket G-Face, 2-socket with a nice corruption would be a great option as well. Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow, you name it. It's got, I think it also has faster hit recovery. Got a bunch of great mods on it as well. So, those are kind of the 3 options that I would stick with. Again, Veil of Steel, it's my choice for this video. However, guys, I say this all the time. There's no wrong way to play a video game unless you're being an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Obviously, just try to have fun and, do what's in your means. So I've gone for the Veil of Steel. For my amulet, I've chosen the +2 skills High Lords. You could go with an enhanced damage High Lords, but this build actually does benefit quite a bit from plus skills, so I think this is probably the better option. You are going to want a couple of points in Frenzy to help you reach that increased attack speed breakpoint, which again I'm going to get into. The battle orders, battle command, all that kind of stuff. Natural resists, even just like your masteries and your natural resist, iron skin. All these things benefit from plus skills as well, so that's why I've kind of preferred the plus skills as opposed to just more enhanced damage. For the armor, guys, you know me already. I love Tyrael's Might. It just offers so much. Faster run walk, damage to demons, damage to undead, strength, res, cannot be frozen, it has no requirements. It's just an absolute epic armor. I think it looks super cool as well, which is why I tend to it most of the time. Another super viable option, and I think this is kind of a fan favorite, but it's not for me, is 2 throw, 3 open sockets, or maybe something with +1 sockets and 2 open sockets. You only are going to need 30 increased attack speed. That's a generalization that might not be true for you, but either way, this just offers Deadly Strike and Open Wounds. I'm not super sold on Deadly Strike, so I just don't find it necessary to go for the 2 throw. I like the Tyrael's Might again for everything that it offers. Frees up a slot, or the corruption on your boots, cannot be frozen. Having it on your armor is just so nice. So that's why I've kind of gone there. I didn't need increased attack speed, so I went for Steel Rends. I have a pretty good pair here that I self-slammed. I would have loved more enhanced damage, but this is what I got. If you were going to go a different route, if you needed increased attack speed, you could go with Laying of Hands. This has a pretty bad enhanced damage corruption, but it is what it is. You could go for Grave Palms, which these ones have increased attack speed corruption on it, but it does give damage to undead, deadly strike, strength, energy. Pretty decent glove all around. You could go for a deadly strike slam if you believe in deadly strike. I'm just not. I'm not entirely sold on it. Especially you do get crit from throwing mastery. And guys, the way the deadly strike works is your passive crit will roll first. So when I'm fully buffed, I have a 31% chance to crit. In that 69% chance that I don't, nice by the way, that I don't crit, then it will roll your deadly strike. So deadly strike is not as effective as you think. It doesn't add to this 31%. It kind of, like I said, it rolls secondarily. So I'm not entirely sold on deadly strike. That said, I do still wear a bit of it. For my rings, I wear Wisp Projector for the Heart of the Wolverines. It just adds a ton of damage. In fact, I'll just try to showcase how much damage it adds. So I'm going to unsummon this bad boy here. I'm doing 60k, and then when I summon him back, I'm doing 67k. Again, these tooltip numbers are inaccurate, but just goes to show it adds a ton of damage. And that's because it adds right here 132% EP. So pretty nice all told. Really can't be replaced by anything else, so I definitely would recommend the Wisp Projector. I've gone with a beastly dual leech. The leech is low, but whatever. Dual leech, big stats, life, res, attack rating. It's a great ring. There's other options that you could use as well. I think I have one in my stash that would be pretty viable. Something like this would work for you as well. And then for the belt, I've gone with Nosferatu's. I needed 20 increased attack speed, and the rest of the mods on Nosferatu's are just so good. Deadly Strike, Life Leech, Strength. This one has an all-res slam, man after each kill. Like, these are just great mods. So if you're looking for a belt with 20 increased attack speed to finish off your build, this is what I go for. And lastly, I go with the Gore Riders. Again, 15% Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow, a couple of really desirable mods. You have other options. You go with Sandstorm Treks or Water Walks. It would be great. Even War Travs. War Travs, the flat damage that would be added would add a ton of damage to this build as well. So would certainly recommend that if you wanted to go that way. And it gives a bit of MF if you're that type of person. On Switch, I put Mangsong +6 to all skills. It's just a very easy way to get a lot of addition to your battle command and your battle orders. So just go with this on Switch. You could go with +3 Warcry weapons. You could even go a step further to have +3 Warcry weapons with +1 all skill corruption on it. That would be obviously godly. You could have 8 in combination between the two weapons. And but I go with the Mangsong for its simplicity. You could get a +1 slam on this as well. For the inventory, you want to use something like this. This is a max AR life. You don't really need more AR. Like, you look at my attack rating, I'm in 32,000. You don't need more than that. So if you want to go low on attack rating, high on life, if you can find that. I mean, really, this is a beggars can't be choosers type situation in most cases, because these things are just hard to find. So just get what you can. Something like this would work as well, where you have 3 max attack rating and strength. You could get it with 2 decks instead. But all told, and then I try to get a little bit of faster hit recovery. I don't have a ton. It's something that I want to refine about this build. And then for my GCs, just all max AR life GCs. Obviously, Torch and Annie. High Vite is nice. Res is, obviously you want to get high if you can, but you can get res from so many other places. So wouldn't fuss too much about that. So that covers off the gear. So let's just quickly talk about, we'll go into the Mercenary. So I like the Act 1 Mercenary. Any melee Mercenary in this game, the AI is just so stupid. I don't know what it is. They'll just run in and die. There's ways that you can make them survivable, but then the gear isn't like super optimal. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. You definitely could go Act 5 Merc with Beast if you wanted to do that. It's just not worth it to me because it's dying all the time. I have great gear on my Mercenary, and nonetheless, it still dies, charges into packs, it gets hung behind you, and then your auras aren't even on you. It's just a mess. So I like the Act 1 Merc. Of course, the staples for this are Faith Bow, which gives you Fanaticism. And again, I'm going to talk about Fanaticism, how that relates to your increased attack speed. And I like Templar's Might, which gives you the Might Aura. Also, this is an Act 1 Fire Mercenary, which gives you Vigor as well. I'll just run out into town. I'll put on Frenzy, and you'll see, like, this guy runs like a madman. And it's actually pretty funny. Like, this is I've always wanted to make a character that can outrun my projectiles, and I'm going to get a little bit of clear space here. Actually, I got to charge up my Frenzy a little more, but this is actually one of those builds where you can outrun your projectiles, which is pretty cool. So anyway, definitely. Oh, I was actually the Vigor hadn't kicked in. The Merc auras are a little bit buggy, but guys, the Tri-Stack aura does work. Don't let anybody tell you that it doesn't, because it does. You can see here's the Vigor. It's all being applied. You can see that my damage is still the Might's there. This is the Heart of the Wolverine. This is the Fanaticism. Everything is working. So guys, trust me, Tri-Stack Aura does work. And yeah, like I said, just, you can. This is my favorite combination, and here we go. I will outrun my projectiles now. So anyway, that's just one little fun aspect of the build. Obviously, it has absolutely no merit in terms of the actual game, but increased attack speed. So again, one of the videos, extremely misleading, had a ton of views, which was unfortunate because I don't love when misinformation is spread. Again, there's just so many resources to get these things right. So let me just talk about Fanaticism. Guys, Fanaticism does not add flat increased attack speed. So the level 15, actually, let me just type this in. Fanaticism, Diablo 2. So the amount of attack speed that you get, that it shows on the wiki that you get attack speed for a level 15 is 33. Now, guys, this does not add 33 flat attack speed. Like, it's not like, 60 minus 33, now I only need 567 more attack speed. That's not how it works. It adds attack speed to the base of your weapon, which actually, like, per your weapon class. So if you have like a Ghost Glaive, which I believe has a normal attack speed, every time you apply increased attack speed to the base of your weapon, your ability to hit these IAS breakpoints becomes much greater. It actually just shifts the breakpoints. So let me just show you what this looks like with Fanaticism. So again, this is level 15 Fanaticism. It added a whole new breakpoint. There was no 3.5 before this, and now you're able to, this is a little more within reach, however, still unrealistic. You'd be, probably more likely to hit this 4 increased attack speed frame rate. But that said, one of the cool things about this build, and one of the ways that you play the build, is you actually apply Frenzy. So you go up, you Frenzy, you build it up a little bit, and then you start throwing. And so what that looks like when you add the Frenzy into the mix is you actually only need 99 increased attack speed on all your gear, and you're going to be hitting that max breakpoint. So guys, I will link to this IAS calculator. Everybody, most people know about it. However, the weird thing, and maybe this is why people feel like there isn't a calculator, you have to choose your weapon first. So choose Ghost Glaive, and then you will be able to add the skill is double throw. Until you've picked your weapon, you won't see double throw as an option. So make sure you do that. But all told, guys, like, I have level 15 Fanaticism, and intentionally, you want to get to level 11 Frenzy. When you have level 10 Frenzy, the breakpoint is 102. It's just a little bit awkward. I mean, obviously, still super within reach, but whenever you can have, when you can bring yourself down, obviously you can't get 2 increased attack speed from anything. So you, like, basically you're going to have to add 10 or whatever. So definitely recommend hitting 11 on the Frenzy, and for Fanaticism, try to get a level 15. Now again, guys, use this calculator if you want to use Beast. which can only have 8 to 10 fanaticism. You know, this is obviously going to change the metrics. Maybe you would want to tinker around with the level of frenzy that you're using so that you can still really easily hit the breakpoint. So just wanted to show you guys that. So hopefully that was helpful, but that is how increased attack speed works. Another video said that the increased attack speed breakpoint is 174. Guys, that is not correct. Please, again, just don't use an eye test. Like, again, there's so many resources. Please follow, one of those things. So we'll go into the skill distribution now. Obviously, you're going to want to max throwing mastery. I put 1 point in each of these. They're just also good. I mean, increased attack speed or increased run speed 37. It's just great. 56 natural res. And again, once you pump yourself up with battle commands, okay, I already was. So anyway, 54 res. It's like unrivaled. Just for 1 point in a skill is just insane. And then of course you have the mallet or the annual quests, and all of a sudden with your torch and Annie, you're in plus resist before you even incorporate a single piece of gear. So max throwing mastery, 1 in each of these. For war cries, you definitely want to max battle command. Once you max this, you get bonus skills +3. It's so good for you, it's so good for your party. Everybody's going to love you, and does a huge increase to you damage as well. 66 increased damage from this max battle command. Just really nice. I'll jump back here in a second. For combat skills, again, I only needed to put 2 points in Frenzy to hit level 11 after I'm buffed. So that's what I recommend to everybody if you're following this guide. However, make sure you use the IAS Calculator to get the appropriate amount of points in Frenzy that you need for your build. Max double swing and max double throw. Obviously, double swing is the synergy for double throw, so it's going to increase your damage. Now, there's a lot of stuff that you can play with. I mean, some people probably want 1 point in leap attack, depending on where you farm. If you run chaos again and you just want to jump over the river a little bit, then you're going to want a point in leap attack. I don't do that. I mainly just do tier 3 maps with friends. So I have ignored this entire part of the skill tree. And I go for as many points in battle orders as I can get. This is where I dump all the rest of my points. I'm only level 89 right now, so obviously I'm going to be able to get that a little higher. But all told, that's how I do my skills. By all means, you can do it a different way. So I'm going to jump into gameplay. I haven't run a ton of stuff. I mean, this is a decently juicy map. Now, one of the drawbacks to this build is you really struggle with physical resists. Basically, you have no recourse for it, so I just avoid them. So if you get like a ghost map, so again, sorry for the digression, but charge up with Frenzy and then look at how fast I'm throwing these things and look how fast I run. Like it's just a cool build. And so again, this is a pretty dense. This is a tough map, all things considered. And especially in solo content, you're going to shred everything. I don't love doing solo content, like aside from doing just Magic Find by myself, because I do find that the monsters are. I find that PD2 has buffed your offensive capabilities so hard that solo content just really is not much of a challenge. However, I mean, again, there's like I always say, there's just no wrong way to play. And if you enjoy solo content, this is going to be a great build. Now, this build is really good for 8-man mapping as well, because again, you bring a lot to the table. You bring huge DPS, you bring the big battle command, you bring the big battle order, so people are going to love you in party games. But anyway, this is, obviously I'm just kind of talking here, and I try to click a little less. Sometimes I find that my microphone picks up the clicks. I'm sure I could be doing this a little bit faster, but I am just trying to talk while I play. So this is gameplay, guys. Like this character is making it look pretty easy, and that's because it is. I mean, this is not a challenging build to play. It does a ton of damage, and it's a lot of fun. My Mercenary died. This is the first time I've ever had an Act 1 Mercenary die. I'm going to go pick her up again because she's so important to the build, and again, makes the increased attack speed breakpoint possible for me with the increase of attack speed to the base of my weapon. So yeah, like I said, I haven't done like a ton of solo content, and this is really one of the first times I'm kind of doing this. But guys, look, the build shreds, and again, like it can just be done in such a budget way. Like The reason I did this build, it wasn't, to go out and prove everybody else wrong that made videos on this. I was doing this because this is one of the builds that I'm interested in starting next ladder with. So again, I was just building up my frenzy. That's why the damage looked a little bit wimpy there. But I've built up my frenzy now, and I actually don't know how long it takes to reset. As soon as you see this little whirlwind go away, that's when you need to charge it up a little bit again. But the attack speed's crazy, the damage is crazy. So, and yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. Like, I think for next season, it's just going to be super, super good because, again, Wraithflight isn't expensive. You can pull this off with an Ariats, which I'm sure you're going to be able to find early. Fortitude would be a great option for armor. I'm just going to stop after this boss, by the way, so I can go back to town and just talk about it. But as you can see, like I'm shredding everything, and that's kind of the goal, right? You love seeing things die fast. You don't love the nobody plays this game for the struggle, right? So anyway, that was a bit of gameplay, guys, and like I said, this is just going to be a great build going to next season. Like, some of this stuff is just so cheap. Nosferatus you're going to be able to find early. You don't need, obviously, a Tyrael's Might. Fortitude, which you'll be able to get early as well, would be a great option. Two Throw is a good option as well. You can go with just a Ravenfrost here. Again, Dexterity is going to add damage for you. It's going to give you the Cannot Be Frozen. A pair of Gore Riders is going to be really easy to find. Like, again, all of this stuff is just so easy to recreate. And of course, your tooltip isn't going to show this. I do have a full inventory, Torch, Annie, all that kind of stuff. But you're going to be able to pump out damage early in the season. And I think that's why it's going to be one of the more popular builds going into next season. So, guys, like I said, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'm going to do that little fun slam/brickfest video relatively soon, probably in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm still just trying to compile a bit of gear so I have a full character's worth of stuff to slam. I also don't have the shards right now because I slam pretty much everything. So I'll work on getting that all set. But as always, guys, if you want to contact me on this video or any of the videos that I've done, and I do recommend going and watching my other content for some other cool builds or just from some general gaming advice, find me on Discord, guys. Bora, Bora, hashtag 7700 is my Discord, and a lot of people reach out to me for advice, and I'm always happy to help everybody. So see you guys next time, and then like I said, the next video will be a bit of a fun one, and I can't wait to see if I slam something godly. So see you guys next time. Cheers.